Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste, friends. Recently, I happened to watch a nice video by one Lavanya Subramaniam from the Saptarishis Astrology on nakshatra-pada paddhati. So it was a very interesting piece of information. Of course, promoting their course, upcoming running course, I think now. So, but I thought that would be interesting for general public to get to know. So that's what I learned it further. What it has is, it spells out significant years in one's life. What all years might be of very great events would have taken place in those years. So this they call it as the NPP technique. So the NPP technique, you
Before
can
going into
watch
that,
their
we'll have the
Temple
prayers. We
Astrology.
are
They have
learning
put Lavanya
nakshatra-padas. So we are
from the YouTube.
of
What it says is to predict significant years in one's life. That is done from the nakshatra-padas. Very simple technique. There are 108 nakshatra-padas. We all know that out of the 27 nakshatras, and each pada falls in one navamsa. So given a longitude, you have see any graha falls at a particular degree, and that means a particular nakshatra, and also a particular nakshatra pada. Now there are 108 padas, so you can maybe visualize it this way. So there are 108 padas. So the 360 degrees of longitude, a planet might be sitting in some particular pada, which would be from the count of Aries as 1. The pada could be the 74th pada or the 90th pada. This can be in the Rashi chart. So suppose the planet is in the 79th pada, you have a count of 79 as the uh, number of padas. This number is important for us. Similarly, this technique involves calculating that in the D1 chart, from the longitude of the planet in the D1 chart, the pada number, and call it N1. Similarly, from the longitude of the D9 chart, and call it N9. So the N1 could be some number like say 79. The N2 could be 94. 94 to 79 difference, the number of years here, is mapped to number of years. Similarly, there could be also a number of years based upon this difference. So there are when there are two points on this graph, you can this sector as well as the other sector will give the number of years. So there are basically 2 years which are significant. That's the technique here. So what they say is significant age would be the difference of these numbers, either from N1 to N9 or N9 to N1. Even for N1 to N9, there are 2 years because of the two sectors of the graph that I showed you. Similarly, here you have two sectors of the graph. Therefore, there are multiple ages in which significant years in one's life can be mapped to. So, to do this, I erected an Excel file, which would be easier for people to just give the nice thing about Lavanyas is she takes clear-cut examples. She takes Barack Obama's chart and tells. So what essentially here in this Excel I have done is given the date of birth, time of birth, time zone, latitude, longitude of the person who is born. You can use any specific inamsas. I use the KP straight line inamsa. One can choose any of the inamsas. But yeah, I think she used Legri inamsa, which is very close to KP straight line anyway. So you get for each graha for this chart, the D1 degree. And from the degree, you can calculate which Rasi it is, which Nakshatra it is, which Pada it is, what is the Pada number out of the 108 Padas, what is the Pada number. Similarly, if you can get a degree for D9, the D9 degree is basically the Navamsa is also mapped to 360 degrees. So you get a D9 degree from that, and I have done all that here. I mean, it's all possible in Jagannatha or and any software. Similarly, you repeat the same calculations for the D9. And as I said, you get significant years based upon the difference between these two D9 minus D1 or D1 minus D9. And she was able to explain this. And for instance, Barack Obama at the age of 46, 46, 47, when exactly these years, he was elected into presidency and he got, she explains it very nicely, justifying how these years, significant years, have flowered in his chart. Similarly, she takes the case of, I think, she starts with Ramana Maharishi. Let me cast it. Ramana Maharishi is prior to 1900, 1879. So Excel has some issues with that. But then you can cast it. And his Mercury gave him Dhanishta second pada at the age of 20. He does things. I mean, you can watch the video on the events that she explains with how significant these years have been in the case of Ramana Maharishi. I also cast one of my relatives' chart. See, this person, born on 25/11/1963, he lost his mother at the age of 50 in 2013. After his birthday on the 25th November, he lost his mother in December, exactly in 50th year. And Saturn gave the loss. That means, as per this, Saturn, if you see, is here in the 12,000 Navamsa showing some loss. And it is also, Mercury happens to be the Matrikaraka in his chart. And from Matrikaraka, it is in the 8th house. So, and Saturn by nature is a planet to give grief. So that was striking me very profoundly. Again, he lost his father at the age of 58. Again, see Surya from Saturn, in the same Saturn denoting the demise of the father, and Saturn was 12th to Surya in Navamsha. And there could be other reasons that we can map it to as well. But one can really get to know what are the very significant years in one's life just by using this technique. So one has to, I will share this Excel file with the public so that what one has to do is what it does is I create a full database of people. You can create your own database and just put the reference number of a person that you want, just as I told you, showed you now, and it pulls out that chart from the, in the database you have to give just the date of birth, time of birth, time zone, latitude and longitude. It calculates the rest of the things. Basically, and pulls out the significant years in your life. Hope this is useful to you. Give it a try. She is running a course which I missed registering to, but this seems to be an interesting way to predict things. All the very best. Thank you.